Hi, this is Mark Wade from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, CenterCityCondos.com, and in this podcast, I'd like to talk to you about Waterfront Square, 901 North Penn Street, and tell you everything I know about the buildings. I know because I live there. Okay, so here's the scoop. So originally, there were planned to be 5 buildings, and they were set in a design that would make the center portion of the parcel a square, hence Waterfront Square. Well, 2 of the buildings never got built, but let's start at the beginning. The first 2 buildings, the Peninsula and the Regatta, done and finished probably around 2005. Those units were sold pre-sale, and they all sold out. Then the newest building comes on the market, the Reef building. That's the 3rd building to be built. And the problem with that building was simply due to timing. You know, the market crashed after the Reef was about, let's say, 1/3 sold out. The developer then had 2/3 of the building left. And let's say he owed, I don't know, I'm just making numbers up here. Let's say he owed $50 million on the note, but only had $30 million in inventory. So from what I understand, and there could be semantics, I could be a little off here, but what ended up happening was the bank ended up taking the remaining units back, and they sold them off at a discount. That's when we bought. The 3 different buildings have 3 different condo associations, although it is a gated community. It sits on like 8 to 10 acres of beautifully landscaped property right there on the Delaware River. Although there are 3 condo associations, they certainly share things like the common grounds, the landscaping, the dog park, the front door, the front gate guard entrance, the swimming pool, and the gym. So some condo dues are used for common elements that are common to all 3 buildings. But if let's say the windows of one of the buildings need to be replaced, that would be specific to that building, and those costs would not be shared. So you've got 3 different buildings with 3 condo associations. Now, the first 2 buildings, the Reef and the Peninsula, the Peninsula and the Regatta, had, of course, suffered through the downturn in the market also, and the prices are certainly coming back, but they're not to a level where they originally were, what they originally sold for. So as a result, when a lot of the sellers came time to move and didn't want to take a big hit, they simply rented out their units, which gave the first 2 buildings a fairly high rental ratio as opposed to owners. Now, that equation is turning because the reality is that time is every condo's best friend. If we look from 2015, really 2014 on, we can see the owner occupancy ratios of the first 2 buildings climbing, values climbing, short sales and foreclosures diminishing. And so the values are creeping back in the first 2 buildings. Now, the 3rd building, the Reef building, which is the building I live in, again, about the same size as in light of the number of units. They're about 170, 180 units per building, something like that. But the Reef building has always had a higher owner occupancy ratio. The views are in all 3 buildings, again, are spectacular. All units there, almost, I'd say about 95 to 99% of the units there include parking. And without a doubt, Waterfront Square here's what I like about the building. We've got parking. We bought a storage unit, and the storage unit is one of the largest storage units I've ever seen attached to any building in Center City. And without a doubt, Waterfront Square has the nicest pool, nicest and largest gym of any condo building in Center City. And that's not puffing. I mean, listen, I go into condo buildings for a living. I've been in every condo building in this town a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen, 5 dozen times. I mean, I know what the pools and the common areas and the gyms look like. And without a doubt, Waterfront Square has probably the largest, if not the largest gym, and the largest, if not the largest pool. And it's a pool that's open 365 days a year. It's an indoor pool that has the ability to kind of be like an outdoor pool because they slide all the glass doors open and it goes out to the deck that overlooks the river. Just a beautiful, beautiful setting there. So we like Waterfront Square, and the reason why we bought there is because I had lived in Center City, right downtown Philadelphia, for 24 years, and it was time for a little bit of peace and quiet. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Center City, but and I was told by my other half that we were moving, so there you have it. So, so we moved to Waterfront Square. We bought a corner, 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. I really like it a lot. We have 1,455 square feet, really good closet space, and that's really the hallmark of most of the units at Waterfront Square. They're known for great closet space and the fact that almost all units have parking. What else? Secure buildings. All 3 buildings have front doorman. Like I say, there's a 24-hour gate attendant, so it's a gated community, and the landscaping is done very nicely. Heat and central air are included in the condo fees, as is water management, maintenance, master insurance policy, the pool, the gym, the shuttle bus that runs into town, all that groovy kind of stuff. There is no gas service to the building, which personally I don't have a problem with. Floor-to-ceiling windows, and it's a nice parcel. I mean, we've done a lot of work to our property. We gutted the, even though we bought it, it was brand new. We lived in it for about 2 years, and then we gutted the kitchen. We've gutted all 3 bathrooms because I didn't see, we got it at such a price that there was clearly room for improvement on that value. So the money we put into it, I didn't feel that we were over-improving because there was still some ability to sell at a significantly higher price, in my eyes. I think the value of the units at the bank released those properties in the Reef building was very nice and significant enough that we could put money in without over-improving. So anyway, the quietness, the square footage, the views, the natural light, the outdoor space that accompanies almost every single 2-bedroom unit in the building, phenomenal, great grounds, the shuttle bus that runs into town, again, the parking and the storage, and of course the tax abatement. Well, that didn't hurt at all. So we really like Waterfront Square. Like I say, I know every condo building in this town up one side and down the other, and we chose Waterfront Square because of the terrific value getting in and then the livability, knowing that it was quiet and the great views and the natural light and the floor-to-ceiling windows and just everything that came with it just made it just an irresistible deal. We've now been there 4 years. Couldn't be happier. I can't imagine myself living at any other building in town. Now if I hit the lottery, then maybe I'll go buy a $12 million penthouse somewhere. But until that happens, we're very happy where we are. It's very comfortable living. So if you get a chance to check out Waterfront Square, let me know. I'd love to show you some units in there. They're discuss the strengths and weaknesses in light of the view, the floor height, and all that kind of stuff, because I think there are some darn good values there, and I think the quality of living is very high. So anyway, this is Mark Wade rambling on and on, way over 8 minutes now, yakking in your ear about Waterfront Square, 901 North Penn Street in the 19123 zip code. Questions, comments, or concerns, you pick up the telephone, you hit the buttons on the front of it, 215-521-1523. Thank you very much.